this movie is not that bad. I know, I was surprised too. I was really surprised. If you're curious on if Ezra Miller really messed up this movie by being in it, you should check it out. If you are interested in The Flash or any of the DC superheroes, especially the Snyderverse ones, you should check it. And if you're into some freaky sci-fi, you should probably check it out just once. You should probably see it. Though I'll be honest with you, I completely understand if you don't because of all that stuff that went down. I trust me, I understand. I'll get into it. Don't worry, I will definitely get into it. Did you guys know Michael Keaton was 71 when they released this movie? It came out this year, so what's this movie about? Well, if you guys don't know from the comics, the Flash's mom dies when he's really young. Somebody ends up killing her. In this movie, he's obsessed with bringing her back, and he finds that he can actually travel back in time and do just that. But should he? Well, that's the big question. All right, so I'll get into the bad right away. Ezra Miller. Uh, there's two things that I have issue with the Flash and Ezra. One, the stuff he did outside of this movie is so prominent in one's mind when you watch it. It's hard not to think about it. I know you should technically try to separate the artist from the artwork, but I don't know. It's hard when some people do things that are, I don't know. I know he was, found innocent of some stuff and everything, but it's just such a big blemish on him and this film. It does kind of lessen the film as a whole because the rest of this film is actually really good, and it feels like it's being kind of pulled down, trying to bolster that up, if that makes any sense what I'm trying to say. You get kind of a dead weight feeling to it, if that makes any sense to you at all. Even though I gotta say, Ezra Miller as an actor, he's definitely he's man, it's complicated to say this. Very corny, a lot, and I'm getting into my second point here. Very much clown work here. The guy's such a clown Flash. It's obnoxious, but there's some real emotion parts here. And actually, one moment involving Ezra Miller actually had me tearing up. So he's a very good actor. I'm not gonna say he's not. I think that's another thing that makes this movie kind of sad. Is his acting's actually pretty good. The clown work is obnoxious. It's like, oh god, it's so annoying. But it actually, the longer you are in the movie, the more his clown work actually makes sense. You have to be an idiot to go back in time and make these changes. And he's an idiot in this movie. He's a straight idiot. So, like, it makes sense in that. They actually say that in the movie, at least a couple of times. They're like, you have to be a real idiot to make these changes. He's like, no, yep. Okay, now the good parts of the movie. Pretty much everything else. Like, everything else about this movie is actually pretty good. I actually didn't mind the CG as much. Yeah, it's definitely noticeable in parts, but it wasn't enough for me to be like, oh, this is bad. Though noticeable for sure. Don't get me wrong, I've seen better, but I wasn't completely taken out of the film, if that makes sense. Hi, baby. Michael Keaton's Batman, fantastic. He's killer in this movie. It's nuts. He's so good in this movie. I'm sad they're not gonna do another one. I know he's 71, but the man's got it. He's still got it. What's fun about some of his action scenes, though, is they do a really good job of masking him when he's fighting. There's multiple points where he's fighting, but you could probably tell it's not really him. But they do a really good job of making it where you can't tell. It's one of those things where you know, but you don't know. You know what I mean? But his Batman's so badass, like crazy good. Like one of the best parts of the whole movie is when Batman gets into the screen. It's elevated to another level. And of course, seeing Supergirl up in there, same thing. When she's in there, it elevates it again to another level. The movie gets super elevated for sure. It gets more and more over the top, and really, this film as a whole feels superhero like, but more importantly, it's almost like a horror film of sorts. I know you didn't expect that. It's really like, hey, time travel is probably not a good idea kind of a movie. Barry becomes kind of a mad scientist of sorts. I don't want to ruin anything. I'll just say he's told by Bruce not to do it, and he does it. He's like, I won't mess up anything, and everything he does is messing up something. It's like watching a car crash happening before your eyes, and you've warned them that you're gonna crash the car. Like, hey, you're gonna crash the car, and you see him get in the car, and you see him driving toward that wall, almost in slow motion. You go, oh my god, man, just turn left or right, just turn, and he just keeps going straight toward the wall. That's this movie. How's Michael Shannon as Zod in the film? He's great, but it's kind of weird. He feels all the Kryptonians feel kind of tacked on. They feel like they're just there to add conflict for the Flash. Really, like Zod's cool, but it's very like this movie would be boring if we didn't have Zod in here. You know what I mean? That's how you feel about all the other characters but him. Like they feel like they're just kind of added on again to lift up the Flash character himself. I, I'm on the fence about. I feel like if they went a different direction with the actor and the character, we would have had a totally different Flash movie going on here. It still probably would have been good. I'm seriously curious what James Gunn's gonna do, but this movie again, it feels like they're just trying to kind of lift up a mess that they're kind of having to deal with, if that makes any sense. Did you guys know that Michael Shannon actually initially refused to be Zod in this movie? Just because he really loved working with Zack Snyder and he didn't like seeing Zack Snyder getting pushed aside. But Zack Snyder gave him his blessing and said it was okay. So I'm glad that did happen. It was, again, nice seeing Michael Shannon as Zod again. Overall, surprisingly good. Again, man, I'm not condoning WB just moving forward with this after all the events that happened, but man, what a missed opportunity this was. If that stuff didn't happen, man, this movie actually probably would have been a bit better at the box office, or we would have had something better, I think. All right, let me know what you guys think, and yeah, have a good day.